Hi everybody, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Tim Lulua, and if this is your first time here, you're welcome. On this channel I share lessons from my life, from books, from movies, and I also talk about nursing. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining me again. It's always a delight to have you guys click on this video or any video that I share. Thank you for coming back again. It's been a while that I recorded a video, so I hope everybody's actually doing well. Before we get right into the video, type in the comment section, tell me how you're doing, how you feeling, whatever time of the day that you're watching it, how are you really doing? So let's delve right into the video. Today I will be sharing lessons from the movie called The Lady Called Life, and it is on Netflix. I watched it a couple of weeks back, and I must commend the movie. I think the movie is such an awesome movie, and Bisola Aiyeola never disappoints. Like every movie that I've seen as lead character or like a major character has been really, really good. And I've liked her so far. Like I've really enjoyed her. I enjoyed the way she acts in general. That's what I'm trying to say. The Lady Called Life centers around the lady called Life. Her name was actually Aye in the movie, and it just shows her relationship with her mom and her family, and just how she's trying to survive and trying to make a name for herself and build a career for her life, and then she finds love in the process and all of that good stuff. So yeah, that's what the movie is majorly about. Technically wise, I thought it was okay, to be honest. I thought the acting was really good. It was believable acting, and by the way, Bisola Aiyeola is an amazing actress. She portrayed the lead character, and most of the films I've seen as lead character, she's been awesome. So I didn't have an issue with their acting. Efa Iwara is also a good actor as well. There was just some dialogue issue at some point, but it's not a big of a deal, so I'll just bypass it. So let's talk about the lessons that I learned from this movie. One of the things that I learned is just generational patterns, or that I saw in that movie, was her mom was raped and ended up giving birth to her Aye out of wedlock, and her mom just wasn't happy with that and was not just didn't care for her, because if she felt she was a mistake child, that kind of thing. And then, but her stepdad accepted her, so and then she also, like Aye herself, also had a baby outside of wedlock. I think she was also raped by her secondary school crush, but mom thought she just slept with him, and her mom hated her for that. Like she would not let her come to her house. Like it was, and I'm like, how would you do this to your kid? And so I feel like if her mom was present with her and like loved her and was able to talk to her, through these different steps as she was growing up, maybe she would have prevented her or helped her to prevent making that same mistake as well. But that didn't happen. So it's a case of where you're trying to avoid this, like avoid something happening or repeating itself. You're avoiding it so much that you are actually enabling it to happen again. So I felt like that was the case with her mom. But for Aye herself and her son, I like that she was doting on her son, constantly caring for her son, constantly in his life. And I feel like, if he grows up, or if he had grown up, I mean, that movie didn't show us that part, but she would be so present in his life that kind of whatever happened with her and her mom repeats itself in the life of her child. So that's another thing to note, that sometimes when we're wanting to not be that demon that we're avoiding and trying not to be like, we'll end up being like that, we end up doing that as well. So that's one. Number two was emotional resilience. Bisola, who's Aye in the movie, showed she was so emotionally resilient, and I think that things like this can affect you, especially if you don't have your parental love, you don't have all these things that matter to you. So I'm getting distracted by people walking outside of my house. So number two is the voices in your head. So she kept having dreams that kept telling her that she wasn't going to make it. She kept having dreams that kept making her shrink, making her stifle her, like, when it's like people have constantly spoken negatively to your life, and then you're not having dreams that sort of validate it and make it such a deal that, yeah, something bad would happen to you. So I could, like, those dreams, and I think that's where you're like, what are you hearing and what are you using to counter what you're hearing? So if you're constantly feeling negative or having bad dreams, how are you speaking back to it and speaking something positive to your life and saying, that is not going to be me. Get thee behind me, Satan, like, leave. That would not be me. So whenever negative things are coming up, constantly negative thoughts, you need to be able to speak back to them and say, that would not be me. That is not going to be me. I refuse this, this bad thought pattern, this bad dream. I reject it in Jesus' name. So that is also something. 3 is love is commitment, and love is it's a choice, it's commitment, and it requires a lot of dialogue if you're really serious about it. So she and Obina, they hit it off. They were really, like, they're just cool and stuff, but ever since I like each other, and Obina was really present for her. I felt like he was really supportive and caring, really showing up and being like, hey, gotta push you to do this, push you to, and pushing her to her dreams, not just coming to her life and not letting her bloom and blossom, but he was able to say, oh, I think you're interested in this. Let me make connections for you to make it work, because this is something that means a lot to you. And that's committing to actually love beyond feelings and things like that. And the other thing with her, at some point, she misunderstood him. Maybe somebody else was texting him and things like that. So she was so mad and pissed, and she's like, I broke it off. And I don't think she let room for communication or trying to say, okay, where's the problem? And if you're going to make something work, then you have to be able to, like, share and talk about it. So, like, have the hard conversations, because sometimes you need them. And even while I talk about hard conversations, she and her mom needed to talk. She and her mom needed to actually bear their hearts. She had pent up anger against her mom. Her mom had pent up anger against her, frustration against her, and they never talked about it until their mom, like, hit her child, spanking her grandkid, and she lost it. And she was like, don't touch my child again, everything. And then she just fed up and just poured out her heart there. And sometimes you don't want to have hard conversations, but I feel like if it's something that's important to you and a relationship that you want to, and this is like friendship, romantic relationship, anything in general, that really means a lot to you. Some days those hard conversations will come. Some days those, this is how I really feel, and point out your heart. And it's a bit difficult to have those conversations, because you will reveal a lot of emotional vulnerability. And you're like, how would this other person take it? Would they be receptive? Would they actually just shut it down and just be like, I don't care? After you've bared your heart out, and somebody's like, I don't care, that hurts, that hurts more. So there was that. So basically, love takes commitment. That's that lesson. And also have hard conversations. Sometimes you just have to push yourself and just pull through those hard conversations, especially if it's a relationship that matters to you. Lingering effects of trauma is another thing, because while growing up, Aye was constantly, her mom constantly spoke negative words to her, telling her she will amount to nothing, you this unfortunate child, just insults and insults and insults. And this followed her through her adult years, so much so that even when her business or something good was about to come forth, something will happen that will not let her follow through. So those are lingering effects of trauma. Sometimes you think you've healed, right? But you're realizing that you're looking back, and then you're realizing that there are patterns in your career, patterns in your friendships, patterns in your relationships, patterns in how you relate with people that keep showing up. And what are you going to do about this? So apart from, like, speaking positive words to yourself, I would also say, pray, and also seek counseling. Like, go to a professional therapist and talk it out. onboarding, let all those things out. Work hand in hand with a therapist that knows what they're doing, who's been trained in these things to help you through your emotional hurt. So that's one of the things again, because you never know how much your childhood has impacted you until you really sit down and say, have been noticing this thing in my life? What is going on? And when you trace it, you might realize that it's been from something that's happened when you were younger. So working through those with somebody who's certified, praying, and just being able to realize that there's a problem would help you get through those lingering effects of trauma, because it's a big deal. I also want to talk about healing, and I don't think Aye's mom ever really healed or forgave herself, for that mistake, or felt like, maybe she felt like it was her fault that she was raped or things happened. I can't really remember the dynamics of how she ended up getting pregnant for Aye, but she didn't heal, and so she projected all those anger, hurt to her daughter. She just, wanted to make her suffer for that pain, or maybe changing her life and type of thing. But it wasn't even Aye's fault. Like, children don't ask to be born. Do you get, like, it just happens and they show up, and then you're like, I think I saw a tweet recently that says that I didn't choose to be born, yet my life is not in my hands, And I found it funny because I'm like, yeah, you don't really ask for it, then you're here, and then everybody's like, you are responsible to do what you gotta do to be able to make it in life, type of thing. So I don't think she healed, and healing is not really for other people, it's for you, because when you're filled with all those hurts, bitterness, anger, there's no way to not overflow and spill up. People don't want to be around you because you're constantly projecting such negative vibes, negative energy, that people are just like, I'm just going to stay on my own. But healing and really reflecting and saying something is wrong and I need to work through it helps you, at least helps you to be a better person, at least helps you to be joyful, at least helps you to have positive energy. So a lot of times we need to hear, we need to say, especially if you're constantly cranky, you need to step back and be like, what is wrong with me? I'm constantly this way, and this is not what I want to project to the world. You have to get to a point where you really desire healing and you're ready to pursue it, to be truly healed. And it's important for you as well, and it's important for your relationship with those around you. So yeah, basically I think that this movie was great. I love the dialogue. I thought it was very relatable dialogue, easy language, everyday language. It felt so real, so true. Funny things there, here and there. I like when Omo, who was a friend, was always calling from the office and be like, boss mode, and then act like he was talking to a client when she was talking to a friend. So that was a nice switch up, and funny too. He wasn't forced comedy, you get. In all, though, I think it was an amazing movie. I think you learn a lot, and then you're able to see how trauma really affects somebody in their later lives or in their latter lives. Well, I don't know if you guys have watched the movie. Please share with me what your lessons are or what you thought about the movie in general. And don't forget to like this video, share, and to subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Hi guys, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Timluluwa, and if you're new here, welcome. On this channel I share lessons about my life.